Hey, everybody. Happy Monday from the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters. It is a beautiful October day in Columbus, Ohio, and the Buckeyes are winners yet again. They're 7-0, and they beat the Iowa Hawkeyes 54-10. Hold on, Nicole. We'll get to it. That's Tyvis, Powell, Bobby Carpenter, and Nicole Cox. Okay, go ahead.
I picked 52-10, but that's okay. That was
So
just
far
another
off,
lucky.
so wrong.
Oh, really?
I had
2
49-10.
I'm joking.
Ooh, I like it.
I was
See,
close,
Tyvis
too.
and I feel like are always on the same page. with stuff.
49-10. Once they start kicking them field goals, I knew mine was out the window though.
Nicole, how are you doing? I mean, these score predictions are uncanny.
Guys, I'm going to run out of luck. It's all luck. I go off my gut. I did do some research on that last one just to see after that time I picked, and I don't know, Justin told me something about Toledo's defense or something. I was like, oh, gosh, I didn't take that into consideration.
You don't need to listen to Justin. He's never got a score prediction right in his life. That's why he's not here this week.
It is so
That's why
fun,
he's
though.
not here.
Well,
He got relegated.
the one bold prediction that I did get correct is I said that Iowa would score the first touchdown.
Wow.
That doesn't even make sense.
I
The
knew
fact
it.
that you- The fact that you
I
got
knew
that.
it. I knew it.
You
What,
could have
you
got
knew that
very
that
wealthy.
was-
I
Dude.
knew that they would score the first touch because you think about it. Arkansas State, they scored the first touchdown. Toledo, they scored the first touchdown.
Oh.
All these teams, when you think
I
that it
think
should
Rutgers.
be
Rutgers.
exactly all the games that you feel like, oh, we just gonna come out there and just landslide this. They always score the first
Tyvis,
touchdown.
we're always on the same page, and I just love it. I love it because it is true. If you go in super
It's a-
confident,
it's a
they
wake-up
mess
call.
We're
up,
banking
you know?
on muffed punts, strip sacks, like
Listen,
stuff that never happens.
the Buckeyes at sometimes they need wake up calls. You think it's a gimme game, and then you
Why
get
don't you meet them on the skull session and give it to them on the way there?
Just Tyvis standing out there slapping dots.
Yeah.
Bob, it's not my job anymore. You know, they have to be.
You're once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye.
you have to
What
be-
about the brotherhood, Tyvis?
What about it?
Help your teammates. Help your brothers.
Listen, if they don't know what they're playing for at this moment, then it's. I thought after last year they would need no motivation.
Coach, you get a lot of DM slides, a lot of Tinder swipes. I mean, sometimes they get distracted. You got to wake them up, get them going on a Saturday morning.
Name, image,
It's
and
a
likeness
noon
as well, Bob.
game.
A lot of
Listen,
focus.
Play noon games.
They should-
sleepwalking out there.
They shouldn't be on Tinder and worried about DMs until after the season.
Ooh.
After the season, you can do whatever.
After the game.
But
You don't answer the Tinder swipes in season?
I personally did not.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, because you
I
were.
like that.
Who
I
does?
think it's good. It's distracting.
Listen, you can. When you gotta
I'm just asking.
listen, you gotta be tunnel vision out there. You gotta. It's you know what? Marvin Harrison Jr. is a guy to me who's like this.
Oh yeah.
Like he has his own goal. He know this. His dad then gave him the recipe to be great, and he's literally like this.
He's in love, though, with the Monarch machine.
That's
Oh yeah, dude.
that's a great thing to be.
He
in
is
love
out
with.
there all the time. It's almost borderline ridiculous.
I've never seen anything like it. He's like, oh, yeah, because we film a show on Tuesday in the Woody, and every single week Marvin Harrison is out there on this $50,000 passing machine.
by
And
himself.
he's like, oh, yeah, I see you guys there, too. Like, yeah, well,
You guys, that's my kind of kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the kid. You want to be the first one out there. You want to be the last one out there. Just constantly practicing.
the standard is the standard.
Oh, he's a first and last out guy. The Monday after, you love that. You love that saying. That's your
I
favorite.
despise it.
That's your favorite.
I despise it.
He's the standard, and so that's.
That's how you get
Live
10
it up.
touchdowns in 7 games.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what?
talk about it.
In a weird way, I will say, I guess that phrase works for that. The standard of just always going the extra step.
We're always
You know,
going
the extra
hardest
steps.
working position group.
Yeah.
That used to be the linebacker group. They're bringing it back though.
Whoa.
I like that.
I think every individual should act that way, though.
Yes.
Be the one, like, don't be the guy going off the field just kind of like trotting. Hustle off the field.
Actually, I
Help
can't.
the coach clean up stuff. Like, well, I'm talking more for kids right
Pick
now.
Okay,
up,
I'm
pick
about
up
to
your
say.
opponents off the turf.
No.
Well,
No,
I did.
will you
I
stop?
learned
No.
that's the difference between a mom. Yeah, I did. I
You
did
can
learn.
pick- listen,
there's a
Nicole.
line.
There's guys who they have water bottles and towels and stuff in the weight room, and I'm like, you're a bad person if you leave this stuff out. There is a trash can and a bin on the way.
Well, wait a minute. They wouldn't. Coach Mick wouldn't allow them to
Oh,
leave.
there are
it.
guys. The interns pick it up. Believe me.
Oh, I don't like that.
I know. And I
Well, see,
told
I'm
them,
not- I'm
you're
not with that.
responsible. They
Yeah, I
try to
don't
pick-
like that.
They try to pick my stuff up. I'm like, no, I am a grown man. I clean up after myself and my kids. I would never expect another grown human being to clean up
Well,
after
it's
me.
like it's learning to be a good human.
Yes.
In every instance of life,
Accountability.
you can't expect someone's always going to do it for you. You know.
So that's why
So-
Marvin Harrison was out there Monday on the bye week, catching balls at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I'm giving a Buckeye leave to him, just so you know, for the practice side of things. Okay, practice. I'm giving a practice.
Nicole, we just celebrated your score prediction. Now you're jumping ahead.
I just love that.
Buckeye.
Wait a minute. Before we move on, I have to say,
let's hear it.
Bob's right. The linebacker group is usually the hardest working group.
Mm.
And it pains me as a safety to say, because we worked hard. But them linebackers, they were definitely hard working.
Well, I understand
Why
it's a
is
safety-driven defense.
Well,
Because they're usually the voice of the defense.
Yeah, man.
You have to know literally everything, like run game. So for a safety, the number one thing that I'm concerned about is the pass game.
Yeah.
As a linebacker, you got to know the run game and the pass game like the back of your hand and be able to play both, which is very tricky.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's a lot
because you were
going
with
on.
a couple of.
I was with Raekwon, Josh, and Darren Lee was my three
It's
linebackers.
amazing because Tommy kind of reminds me a lot of Raekwon, like just personality wise. Never smiles, always why so serious.
I feel like we could get a
smile out of him.
and
He
a
smiled
sentence
today.
out of Raekwon.
Well, yes, maybe
For
not
sure
all
you
the time.
can.
Now he's opened up more, but he always just walked around looking mean and like he had that big thick neck. He like looked like a drill sergeant. I'm like, dude, you look like you're in the military all the time, Raekwon. Like, smile, bro. And then Tommy, I caught him today.
No way.
In there getting some treatment, of course. Like in there, always early. And like,
I love the early.
did you at least smile when you scored? And then he smiled and said yes. I'm like, of
Aw.
course. If you get a touchdown as a defensive player,
Bobby,
you can't smile
He
then.
wouldn't. I tried so hard. He walked into the post game. He had told Berm in the tunnel. Berm's like, when was the last time you scored? And I'm sure Berm can tell the story again later if he wants to. He's like, I don't think I've scored a touchdown since I was in 5th grade. So he
What?
shared that detail. And then he came upstairs and I was like, Tommy, I heard that it's been a while since you scored, maybe since 5th grade. And he was like, yeah.
You know what it is?
And then I said,
Yeah.
I
you
bet
don't care?
you.
Did you think about a dream? Like, this is a lifelong
Yeah,
accomplishment.
right, dude.
He's like, I feel like I could have played better. Made some more plays.
I bet you.
And I said, okay, here's try number 3, Tyvis, and then I'll let you do it. I'm like, are you serious that you don't care that you scored a touchdown in Ohio Stadium for the Buckeyes? And he was like, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Austin. I guarantee you, if I talk to him, I get him to laugh.
I hope so.
I guarantee
It
you.
would take a minute. It's
No,
not like
no,
you
it
can-
ain't. No, it's not.
Travis, I'm telling you.
I like the rule, but
I like the challenge of trying to get Tommy Eichenberg to speak, but if you had got a pick 6 and you came upstairs to that room, you would have been in there for 45 minutes telling stories.
I'd have went over my life. I went through a lot to get to this moment. First of all, I want to thank my mother, for everything that
That's
she
right.
did. And I knew that I would make a play like this in Ohio Stadium one day. The unfortunate thing is that I never did get a score a touchdown.
That's right. And
It's
Tommy
unfortunate.
Eichenberg did it. It's a rare thing to happen.
Bobby, you scored a touchdown?
At Ohio State?
Yeah.
No.
I know. It's tough, man.
He recovered a couple fumbles, had 3 interceptions, but never.
But you
never
guys
had
made
interceptions.
great plays
No.
to make the touchdown happen.
AJ scored 2. One, he stole a blocked punt of mine that I probably could have had.
Well, the difference is one of them years, I think it was 2015, the whole defense was scoring. I'm talking Dede scored, Joey scored.
D. Lyman scored.
Vaughn had a pick 6.
Oh, Joey-
Eli had
Joey's
a scoop.
like-
I'm like,
Steve Miller.
come on,
Yes.
man.
You just had to settle for the game-sealing interception. Those guys
Yeah.
got all the glory. In that.
I would trade them.
That's why you tried to take it back.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. I would trade them for a pick 6.
Okay.
I would.
None of that had much or anything to do with 54-10 against Iowa, but we can put the spotlight back on that. Nicole's going to kick it off with some Roosters Buckeye leaves. She's got a notebook full of about 25 names.
I've decided I'm going to give it to Zach Harrison, which I know Tyvis loves that pick. He wanted that pick as well. He picked it last week, but he played incredible. It was the best game of his career, I feel, and he had 5 pressures, a strip sack, which is amazing. He was the highest grade of all college football players this past weekend. So for someone that came in and just was so highly rated coming into Ohio State, and it's taken him a little while to truly shine. I mean, he's found it.
Yeah.
He looked amazing.
It's always been tough because the expectation was that he was going to be
Joey
a Chase Young
Bosa,
or a
Chase
Joey
Young, yeah.
Bosa, and that
That's why I don't agree with that. That's where I don't agree with it, because you can't put the standard is
The standard
with that.
is about, to me, it's about the process, not about the production. Like,
Okay.
Are you working and doing everything that you're supposed to be doing?
I agree with
Not
that.
necessarily because you can only be as good as you can be. And everybody's got their own unique gifts. I was incredibly happy for Zach because he's worked at this for a long time. And like you said, the expectations were almost unrealistic for him to be there and what he was asked to do. But I'm pumped because he got a lot of crowd pump going on. Yeah. And I told him, I go, listen, if you want them to cheer, ask them to. You don't get things in life you don't ask for, at least not good stuff. So I'm like, so you know what?
You want him to wave to the crowd?
Listen, you saw it.
They weren't doing it a lot the last couple of years.
He did it.
Now, maybe because they forgot because there was nobody in the stands in 2020. So.
Well, there was no one there, and then those guys were all young. I'm like, listen, bro, pump the crowd, get them loud. You saw the one they called timeout, and he gave a couple more. I'm like, people would get excited. Yeah. They like the interaction, so super pumped. My guys, I mean, Tommy, Cody, and Steele, like those are my dudes. It's impossible. Tommy with strip sack or the pick six, 8 tackles. I think Cody had like 6 tackles, had a sack. Steele threw in 4 more tackles, how to pass the fence, hurry and stuff. Like those guys are all playing really good ball, man. You couldn't. There might be one of the best linebacker groups in the country. I mean, I haven't sat there and like looked and compared them across a bunch of people. I know Berm's on the Eichenberg best LB in the nation train, which I'm not going to refute that. And like
nobody can.
Steele and Cody are playing really well too. Like they have 3 guys that they can put in there. They went some 3 linebacker sets. Like, and that it makes me feel good. The fact that you have 3 dudes who are playing at a high level, all selfless, all get along really well, and it's awesome to kind of see that because that was not necessarily the case for the last couple of years.
Okay, Tyvis.
So you giving it to the linebacker?
All 3 of them.
I love
cut it into thirds.
They have to cut it into thirds.
Well,
just like they
like
should
a
do
Rooster's,
with the
like a Rooster's quesadilla.
Well, I'm going to give it to somebody that deserves it. You know, that doesn't get a lot of credit.
Ooh.
You know, comes in every week, does his job, and nobody says a thing to him. Noah Ruggles.
Whoa.
The Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week. Woo. Going out there, going 100% from the field. Man, kickers matter. And you know what?
Matter.
You know how I feel.
You know
I feel
what?
the same way.
You
Urban
don't
said,
get the
"You're a
recognition
kicker."
and the respect that you deserve because kicking is hard. You know, you see kickers miss field goals all the time. Go to Alabama and ask their kicker, how's he doing? Hey, lost a big game.
Which one? Any of the last 10 years you could ask that.
Exactly. Noah, you're special. You deserve many, many leafs. Don't let nobody shortchange you. I personally should come give you a leaf myself.
Do you think Tyvis and I
Go
are like the
Bucks.
same person? Like that is 100% how I feel
Two
about
most-
the kicker.
yeah.
I think he's pandering.
Those are the
to
2
you,
most
Nicole.
positive people I know.
I just love because the kicker, the pressure. It's like it's for them to choose to want to be in that position. It's just I just give them so much credit because I can't imagine you're just expected to make it.
Yeah.
You're just
Yes.
expected.
Standard
There's
is a
no,
standard,
like,
Nicole.
there's no
Y'all
good
gotta
job on that. There's go do your job right this second with everyone staring at you.
Right.
And
I
it's
think
like,
there's a slogan for that.
where do they get the affirmation, like the appreciation, the affirmation of like, I'm great, you know? Like, it's like, nope, you just got to go do your job and that's it.
We can't have them on together. 'Cause it's
What?
It's too much positivity.
It's the truth.
We need Berm on to balance it
Yeah,
out.
there's going to be a dose of negativity coming from Berm. I
I
promise.
mean, there's so much positive. I do like the affirmations. Urban wasn't big on the kicker affirmations. Well,
Didn't
you know what?
even call them by their names.
You're a kicker.
You are the kicker.
Hey, kicker.
You're a kicker. Hey, why don't you need to ask Ryan about that? Where do kicker
Affirming.
the kicker affirmations.
How much
No.
affirmation do you give?
Yeah.
That pressure, you guys, I can't even in high school, even in like down to Pee Wee football when they start kicking, it's just like all eyes on you and you have
Tupac.
to get this
Tupac.
right.
Yeah.
You know?
Tupacalypse now. All eyes on the kicker who needs an affirmation.
He does.
I
we
always
got
want
one
to
from
hug them.
Tyvis.
I just feel for them. They have.
I felt he needed his recognition.
That's
you know?
great. Tyvis did it. That's what he's here for.
Tyvis, thank you for doing that.
You're so welcome.
That was awesome.
I'm going to give the last and only Buckeye leaf that I've ever given. I'm afraid it's the last one to Bradley Robinson. I
I talked to him this morning.
I feel absolutely horrible for Ohio State's long snapper. Looked like a pretty fluke deal going down with the knee injury.
Can he get an 8th year?
That's the question, right? He played more than half the year, so I don't think that medical red shirt and COVID year and all the other things that got him to year 7 at Ohio State
That's right.
to make that decision
7.
to stick around and come back. He was playing at a high level again. Like, it's a special team situation. You have one opportunity to go meet the standard. He did that over and over. I thought he was the best long snapper in the country. Again, I haven't evaluated the others. I just like him as a person, and now he's not going to get a chance to finish off in all likelihood, a national title chase.
Does he? So if they win, he'll have 6 pair of gold pants. Is that the record?
I
Well, no,
don't
they
think
didn't.
you
They
can.
didn't play the 1 year.
Yeah, so he missed.
They
got
sure
screwed.
Missed the
didn't.
COVID year, and they did not
False.
actually win last year.
Wow.
So he had a shot at it. I know that there have been guys who have 5. I don't think that anyone got to 6.
6, and he-
It could have been Justin Hilliard.
I think
I
they.
tried to talk
I'm
Cody
sure you
to tell him
did.
back. He wouldn't do it.
I think they should have awarded everybody in 2020 gold pants because they were going to win that game by 100. But we didn't get to see it. So Bradley Robinson,
Great guy.
been a pleasure to cover him. Hopefully he's able to get going again. He will find, I think, an opportunity at the next level with his skills and that long snapper ability. He was a key part of it. Now you lose that leadership as well for the specialist. I think that's important. The mechanics to make sure that Noah Ruggles gets a smooth snap out there. That'll be something to keep an eye on because as Berm attested on Saturday, the Bengals found out how quickly things can deteriorate in the opener if you don't have somebody to step up and do that. So Mason Arnold will be the guy there moving forward. But Buckeye Leaf for Bradley Robinson for a great career with the Buckeyes. And there are mac and cheese bites on Tuesday.
It is
Ooh,
mac and
yes.
cheese bites tomorrow.
$2 appetizer
$2.
Tuesday.
I've had
Just
2
spinning
of 'em.
roosters. I mean, if you ever want to eat mac and cheese without a spoon or a fork and not get a mess, not make a mess, mac and cheese bites, they're the way to go.
They are.
They're crispy, they're delicious, they're gooey on the inside.
And they're Schlegel's favorite.
They're Schleg's favorite, and they're $2 all day long for appetizer Tuesday. And
They're the official appetizer of Buckeye Leafs this week at Roosters.
Yeah.
we have 7 games down, but there are still 5 more opportunities. Wait,
Yeah.
So,
Wait,
7?
I'm picking week 7 today.
Yes.
Yes.
So we still have 5 more opportunities. Scan the QR code. Go to roosterswings.com. Register for the Roosters Buckeye Bowl trip giveaway.
Deluxe hotel accommodation.
2 pair of tickets, so you get to bring a friend, fly out there, deluxe hotel accommodations. We've won 7, so I think we're probably don't have to worry about going to the Motor City Bowl. So we
Think
will
that
be
one's
on.
out.
We will be on a plane, most
Yes.
likely.
Oh,
And you're also going to get some Roosters swag, gift bag,
Yes.
all kinds of things going on. So go to roosterswings.com, the official wing sponsor of Ohio State
Bobby,
Athletics.
thank you. You
Pop-
just do a great job with that.
Possible that we'll just bring the Horseshoe Lounge to the people there. on
We
the trip,
will.
too. Yeah,
That's what we're looking forward
That's the
to.
intention.
I'm so pumped.
Where are
So-
the two games this year?
Back to Atlanta or Phoenix in the rotation this year.
Mahonix.
So almost
Fiesta
certainly
and what?
We've never
Fiesta-
been to Atlanta.
Fiesta and
Peach
Peach.
Bowl.
I don't think it will be the Peach Bowl. I think in all likelihood,
Yeah,
if Ohio
there's-
State is unbeaten, they will elect to go to the Fiesta.
And if they're not number 1, then one of the SEC or Clemson, whoever, everybody else would choose.
It's pretty
Peach
much a
Bowl.
certainty if Ohio State is in the playoff, they will be going to Glendale, Arizona.
Which I love.
Where's the
It's a
national championship?
time
Great
of year.
place.
Los
It's a
Angeles.
great time of year to go to.
SoFi,
Oh, SoFi.
SoFi. And it's, I don't know.
LA.
So fly. Ohio State at Penn State on Saturday. The score picker over here.
I'm not feeling as great about this
Oh,
one.
what?
But
What?
I'm gonna throw out 47-35.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Explosive.
Whoa.
It seems like Penn State, they have a decent offense. They've been scoring
Michigan
as much
begs
as we
to
have.
differ.
I guess I didn't look at what that
Penn
meant.
State had 1 first down in the first half against Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they
I mean,
were
they had a
scoring a
pick-
lot more.
They had a pick 6.
Then
They had
all
a-
of our
You're
other-
the expert. I'm just giving you another
We'll see,
fact to
guys.
consider.
We'll see.
47-35.
Yes.
Tight game on the road.
What's the line on that?
We'll think about it. We'll come back. We'll have some more.
I think it's 13
picks.
and a half, maybe.
Yeah, that's.
Look at you, Nicole.
She's into it now.
I really enjoy it.
By the
Once
way,
you get a taste of success, you want more.
It's just so exciting once the final score comes out. I was at that
Wait,
wedding.
what was
I was
it?
like,
What'd you say?
I said 54-10.
last.
No,
week.
no, no.
No.
This game, this upcoming.
This
You
game,
didn't say
47.
54.
I said 52.
You wouldn't have even come in today if you'd got it exactly right.
I said 47-35.
47-35.
Yeah, you can think about it. We'll get to your predictions in the second half of the show,
You
Tyvis.
say that now, Bobby, but I feel like my picks have been better. than
Listen,
Well,
they
there's no
probably
question.
have. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm saying if it is right, I won't like that.
I won't like
Yeah.
that either.
The
It's a lot of
number,
anxiety. I'm planning on relaxing on Saturday afternoon.
if the
I
number
know.
2 total defense in the country gives up 35 to James Franklin, I think we'll have
Jeez.
some questions about
James,
what happened there.
See, I do feel our defense is better than 35 points,
Yeah.
but I feel like we haven't played an offense like this yet.
Mm.
So
Yeah, talk about it.
you just don't know.
We don't know, but you've been right more often than the rest of us.
It's
so-
okay. I won't brag about
I
it.
hope you're really
yeah,
wrong.
sure. Yeah, we definitely won't get any texts about it on Saturday
It's
about
so
3 o'clock.
exciting. It's so exciting.
All right. Well, we're going to let Nicole go back about her day and get into the lab cooking up those score predictions as she gets ready for the second half of the season. She's going to pick a bowl trip giveaway winner, and she'll be back next week to break down Ohio State and Penn State. We've got to have Berm come in for the second half of the show after we take a quick break in the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters, which is a fun, casual joint. All right, welcome back in to the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters. Berm's here, and he's crying.
I'm so sad.
Why are you crying, Berm?
Because I don't like disjointed offenses. And that's all we see anymore.
All we see anymore.
Mm.
You know they scored 54 total points.
I was talking about Iowa.
Coach,
That's the worst college offense I've ever seen.
it really is. And there's been some bad offenses. There's no redeeming qualities that it
No,
possesses.
they didn't do anything well.
Nothing.
I couldn't even remember which quarterback threw what picks because they both looked the same, like equally as bad.
Yeah, it tells you something, Bob, which is that it's probably the coaching and probably the nepotism that's the problem.
I don't know. I mean, who threw the pick to Eichenberg? Was that Padilla or Petrus?
Petrus.
I mean, I'm not sure who was even throwing it to.
I didn't know who he was throwing. He threw it to Tommy.
He threw it to Tommy. Like, that was like a check down that he.
Well,
How do you misfire on a 5-yard check down?
the fact that they came out, first of all,
They
Kirk
threw a
Ferentz-
pick on the first
Kirk
play
Ferentz
coming out of a bye week.
decided-
You can't cook up a better play than that.
Kirk Ferentz decided to take the ball.
We're taking the ball.
They won.
We're going to score.
And then they came out on the first play, and Petrus threw right to Tanner McAllister's stomach.
Them is the hardest picks. They come straight to you because you be so shocked. Like, what is he doing?
It's Tanner McAllister's picks have been too easy. And I joked with
Because
him
you know
about
why?
that.
Because he's in great position.
Yes.
Well,
knows what he's doing.
he's the first player since Kirk Coleman, I think,
Got 2 picks in
which
the
is
game.
not true because
Okuda did it in 2019.
I had 2 picks in my last game in the Fiesta Bowl against Notre Dame, but
Well,
Joey had to go out with a target, and so that kind of wiped one of them away. But
did keep
Do
that
you
out
think
of
he
the
did that on purpose that day?
why does everybody think that?
Because he didn't really want to play. Didn't need to, but then he did, and then he was out like 3
I mean, he
minutes
should
later.
have just not played. I don't think Joey.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he would do that.
Here's Berm on one hand, agitated that everyone keeps
I
making up
don't-
this narrative for Jackson, and on the other saying that Joey Bosa
I-
purposely got him kicked.
I literally just said I don't think he did it on purpose.
A lot of people think that though.
It's
Yeah.
one of those things that have taken on a
I
life.
should have
of its own.
asked him.
You know?
Okay, wipe away your tears and give us your
Mason
Roosters
Arnold
bucket
gets
list.
one. The backup long snapper,
Okay.
ready to go at a moment's notice, as always.
I gave one to Bradley Robinson. You came
I
on the
know.
show and gave one.
I
to
know. I
Mason
had to
Arnold.
one up you.
Okay.
I think that the Buckeye defense in general obviously played pretty darn well. Obviously, Zach Harrison's the guy that people want to talk about.
Yeah.
I really liked the game that Cody Simon played. In a position where you don't really know week to week if you're going to be the guy that's out there because the defense changes based on the opponent. And Cody really played well. Again, he's done it all year long. That sort of ability to step in and be ready to go and play well and not be a liability on the field, I think it's that sort of growth you really need out of the defense. And that's really where last year to
Shower
this year-
versus grower.
Right,
Classic conundrum.
You see that? That right there is why I gave my Buckeye lead to, because he didn't even.
Yeah.
He went special teams. Didn't even say nothing about the guy.
No appreciation.
Big Ten
You
special
already did
teams
it.
player
You
of the
already
week.
said
I'm
it. I
just-
wasn't going to double down on Noah Ruggles.
You double down on Zach Harrison. You double down on
Cody
the linebackers.
Simon.
Oh, did he say Cody Simon?
No, he said the
He
linebackers.
said give it to all the linebackers.
Oh, well, see,
I schleggled
you
it.
sluggled it. And again, I mean, I think Lathan Ransom, who's now like a semifinalist for the Thorpe Award, as announced on Monday, like his star is rising so fast, and it's one of those situations where you kind of hate it because now you all of a sudden have to go, damn it, now we may not have Lathan next year, and that's sort of how the ride works. But I guess I would probably go with Cody Simon as far as just stepping into a game that you knew was going to be physical. You knew Iowa was going to try to do whatever they do with their tight ends. Weirdest offensive football.
Well, when you feature the tight end, I mean, you have to be very creative with it.
That tells you how low your ceiling is.
They're splitting out 3 tight ends wide. Like,
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. What are you going to do to defend this?
That was so crazy.
It's so weird.
I see Laporta at the X. I'm like, what in the world
He wasn't
are
the
they
only one.
doing?
It's fine if you put him out there for a matchup issue, but then you have the other tight ends also lined up wide.
Well, that's what teams do that, and they do that. Like if you're really good at running the ball, and teams have to go like ultra big personnel, then you split them out and you do that. But they weren't good at running the ball. That was just like their third down spread look.
It makes me know that Tyler Goodson for them last year was really a special player because that was the only thing they had.
And Chuck Sizzle.
Their defense continues to find ways to score. Good for them. But
their secondary is pretty good. I mean,
that's a good defense.
I think their defense
That's a
is
good
very good.
defense.
I mentioned this to Bill on our morning show. Like they get away with being a little handsy, and I think that's fine. But they're smart about the way they do it. They're not egregious. Like there was a lot of times where they were just grabbing Emeka Egbuka just enough to slow down a route.
That's a skill to be able to hold and not get called. Every DB, that's the greatest skill you could possibly have.
You got to
just
be
nodding.
smooth.
I try to tell those guys, like, you watch the dudes in the league, like they're super low.
It's low.
Quick,
Yeah, it's low.
Always out of a break, just a little arm tug, just slow them down, not too much.
Make sure you don't get the jersey.
Yeah,
don't
don't ever pull a jersey. But they were good. Their front was really good too. Yeah. If you put Iowa's defense with Maryland's offense, you would have probably top 12, top 15
Do you think
team.
the Big Ten should
Did you actually watch see Maryland on Saturday?
Consolidation. Well, listen, I did.
They won. That's all you got to do. You got to win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pick up that W, move on.
Generally,
what an impressive
that
win over
is true.
By the way, did you guys know what the line is for Northwestern Iowa next week?
Like 31.
Oh,
total.
31 and a half.
Yeah.
Who?
The total
It's
score.
total.
Oh, like,
the lowest.
wow.
I think they said it's the lowest in NCAA history.
Which I don't think that's accurate.
17, 14.
I really think that they should just start the game with sudden death. Like whoever scores first wins.
They do the overtime right from jump, 25-yard line rotating.
I think
back
y'all
and forth.
wrong. If Sam Laporta's going to have a big game.
Oh.
You probably will against Northwestern. That doesn't mean they'll score.
12-9.
Northwestern
set
has
up a lot of
two
field goals.
former 5-star quarterbacks on their roster.
Oh, my.
In Ryan Helinski and the kid from Indiana who went to Clemson and then whose name is escaping me, but whatever. 2 former 5-star quarterbacks.
Hunter Johnson.
Yep.
Well,
didn't he go back to Clemson?
No.
You can do that?
Oh, Coach, you get like limitless transfers now.
Do whatever
it's
you
lawless.
Yeah, it's like, boneless wings on Thursdays. You just get as many as you want.
I don't think Nicole.
Is that how it works?
No,
no.
That's actually
that is not a sanction.
That's actually not a Rooster special.
Oh, might be.
Nicole is freaking out over there about Brim saying that out loud. But I don't know. Maybe Brim should just pay for it. If people want to come get couple swings.
Maybe that was on Brim, is what he was saying.
Okay.
Well, was it anything that alarmed you? I felt like we couldn't run the ball in the first quarter or two. What you think?
We went over this a lot on the podcast daily this morning, but
on Snappy J's.
This is a different show.
I don't know if this is a situation where Ohio State was intentionally just being milquetoast and saying, hey, you know what, we're going to go out there, we're going to play our basic offense and see if they can stop us. They did. But Iowa seemed to know when they were running the ball every single time, and that is a major concern for me because it has happened in the past where Ryan Day gets a little bit conservative and telegraphs what they're doing. When they're in the pistol, they're running. Everyone knows it. And so those are the types of things that I'm a little bit concerned about as you head into a team. Iowa was willing to say, we're going to stuff the box and let you try to beat us over top because they do have good defensive backs. But you have to be able to get a yard when you need a yard. And multiple times, 3rd and 2, they came up short.
Exactly.
Like, that is a concern.
3 for 13 on 3rd down.
I was watching it, and I'm like, this is – because, I always had the theory. Even when I played, I said, this is Ohio. We at Ohio State. If we can't get 2 yards, then we don't need to be here. And the fact that they fell short, I was just –
love it. It's my favorite saying.
If
you can't get a yard, Rothman used to hate it. If you can't get a yard, you don't deserve to win. All yards aren't created equal. Jim Knowles said, give me a yard and I'll defend it. He knows. Everybody, listen. It's this far. What are we talking about? Go stop him.
So let me
go get it.
Let me take Tyvis's question and expand on it a little bit. Where I feel like over 4 quarters, that wound up being an easy blowout.
Yeah,
54-10. Now I know that we can look and nitpick. Well, the running game, obviously. CJ with a couple throws and decisions that he wants to have back. I feel like I'm going to speak for me personally, that when we paid that much attention to a few of the minor details, I said on Saturday I thought it was weird, and then I thought, well, how weird was it? They won by 44 points.
That's the funniest part.
Like, that seems unfair to evaluate it that critically when most, like, they figured it out, and you still get to make adjustments and go play a second half. And they beat the brakes off.
What did Bob say?
Well, and that's what I'm going to ask.
It's
like,
the standard.
The standard is the standard.
Excellence.
I get it. But, like, that's over the course of a game, it was an excellent performance.
It was the totality of it. Not great on third down, not great in the red zone. I think both of those are a function of the inability to maybe run the ball. You said when they know it's coming. Here's the thing. I honestly believe, and just listening to Ryan, you guys talk to him all the time. Listening to him and the messaging, like Ryan is very intentional with how he does things. They ran it 30 times. They could have cut that in half and probably scored 77 points on those guys. But he wanted to continue to run the ball to A, either prove they can do it, or B, prove a point that they need to continue to get better. Okay. Iowa's front seven is good.
Yes.
And they were stunning around, they were moving, but hey, we got to be able to run the ball. We're going to play good fronts. Maybe not next week, maybe not the week after. Maybe it'll only be the final game of the season, regular season, and then in the playoffs, hopefully. Mm-hmm. But that's literally, I think, what he was doing is we're going to either get better at this or you're going to have to know that we have to get better at this. Because I think in the red zone, they were trying to stick with the run. It's really hard to run the ball because the safeties, as Tyvis knows. You don't have to defend the deep side of the field.
Correct.
You can trigger. You're like
you can.
You're like a glorified linebacker at that point.
Yes, you are.
You know?
Free hitter.
Oh, wait, I'm standing on the goal line. There's 10 yards behind me. I don't have to go anywhere. I'm running downhill. So it's hard. Those lanes fill up fast. And I think he wanted to continue to try to do that. And then you saw in the second half, like they could just throw it to Marvin on back shoulders.
Yeah.
They can do that stuff all day. There's no one's going to stop it consistently. You stop to one, okay, we'll do it again. We'll get the second.
Yeah.
And I think he could have done that, but that's what they did last year. And ultimately, when you have to then run it, it's like, this isn't great. They're getting some pressure. We want to try to establish our identity, and we haven't done this. So that's why he's going to continue to come out and try to run the ball every single week.
I thought first quarter-wise, I wasn't expecting it to be perfect. They're coming off a bye week. Iowa's had a week to prepare. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, okay, it's going to look sloppy. I didn't think CJ would be trying to throw picks like he did. I mean, I was like, CJ, you better be glad they can't catch. But I thought as the course of the game went on, obviously it got better. But the thing that was alarming to me was, like Bob said, the run game. Like it was, I knew that the tackles was really good. I was always concerned about the guards in the center. And I'm like, because if you want to run the ball, you got to run it down the middle. And I thought that they didn't do well. That's my personal opinion.
Some of that's on the tailbacks themselves.
True. That's true.
Who spent a lot more time dancing on Saturday.
That is true.
Sometimes just go get 4. Yeah, go get 5. Don't worry about the home run.
And that's been obviously an issue all year long, or at least, with Travion Henderson, that seems to be an issue. That had not been an issue with Mayan Williams all season. But on Saturday, he did, coming off of his own, leg injury, like he did not look to be as confident as he had all year long. So all those things married together, I think, is what is the issue. And my concern is the running game, because you're going to play against a team this weekend in Penn State that is much better than Iowa, and much more athletically weighted to Ohio State. Now,
I would say on the back end, front end.
No, certainly their front four is not good, but Ohio State, their linebackers, they do a lot of different stuff with them, and their safeties are very good. Their secondary is good. You're going to have to just win that battle, and some of that is offensive line, some of that is running back, some of that is play calling. It's all sort of in one. And all year, the question, the comments, the mantra, the motto was, we have to get 3rd and 2. If we need 2 yards, we need to run for 2 yards. Oh. And they did not do that on Saturday, and that is a concern.
Well, they were 4 for 4 on 4th downs.
Yes.
Or 3 for 3.
But
so that's a little bit.
Why do they always make the 4th down play like the most difficult play in the world? You know what I mean? Like the touchdown pass in the third quarter to Marvin Harrison, like, is the most difficult 4th down play you can come up with. Like,
did it work?
Yeah, but why does it have to be so hard? Roll the quarterback out to his left and throw the ball in the window that's this big. Like,
some things you had to work on,
It seems like you just do that a lot.
Yeah.
It's always the most difficult play imaginable.
Well, at least they have the ability to do it. Not everybody could do that. Roll a quarterback roll opposite of his pass
To his left, yeah.
and throw it in a tight window and complete it. Shows how great of an athlete CJ is.
Marvin's so good. It's absurd.
Yeah.
Bob, so there was so much angst about that first half, and then obviously the running game, including all that in there. Like, once you saw the adjustments, once you saw the way they played in the second half, like, the way you evaluated the totality of the game, did it change, or did you just feel frustrated by what you saw early on?
I had to try to remember a little bit that it was a 30-point line and you won by 44. Okay, against a Big Ten team who historically over the last 20 years has been one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the conference year in and year out. They're always really good on defense. They're always really tough and physical up front in the box. So they weren't just going to allow you to come out there and steamroll them. So and after talking today, like, I got to go back and rewatch the game, but they did some things up front to try to disrupt that. There's things that need to be worked on, and there's things that are correctable. And I like Justin Fry, him and Kevin Wilson. I think they'll get all that stuff corrected up front and be able to move forward. I think it's good to see that because not every game's just going to be 77. But I had to take like a reality pill at halftime. Like 26-10. Like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Like, they're up by 16 points, 2 scores. If the score would have been, I don't know, like 17-0 or 21-3, like, okay, would it be much different? Probably not. But the fact that they had the
it's because it
defensive
felt
score, it just didn't feel.
It felt closer than what it was at
because
halftime.
we couldn't score in the red zone. And
yes,
that's something that we were 27 of 29 for touchdowns.
Yeah, I know
coming into the game. Right?
Coming into the game,
and
like, you cross the 30, put it on the board. Like,
that's why you don't want to overreact either, right? But you have to be somewhat critical of that because in the Ryan Day era, the losses have all had a very similar recipe, and that is one of the ingredients. So
the one thing I will say, though, is a lot of those losses prior, you had to feel like you had to score that many points. I don't know if with this defense, you'll feel like you have to score that many points.
No, I think there's an adjustment for Ryan, too, understanding that sometimes it's okay to take a field goal. Like, that's all right.
We're not going to give up a touchdown, so getting 3 points isn't that terrible.
I just think that this was the first week in a while that the offense was going to be challenged because we knew Iowa's defense was good. We knew the defense was it was essentially a week off for the defense. We're just going to work on getting better and making sure that we clean things up. But the real game, the real thing that everybody's watching is Ohio State's offense versus Iowa's defense. And I thought at the beginning, Iowa did a good job of making us punt, which is something that we don't even I don't even really know the punter's name.
Say his name.
I don't even know his name.
Jesse Mirko. Say his name.
So that's my point. So when I seen the punter, I was like, whoa.
Oh, we have one of those.
Yeah. So I think
cool.
I think, y'all hit it on the head. We become so, and it's Ryan Day's fault. It's your own fault. You came in here with this great offense, scoring all of these points that we all got accustomed to it. So when we finally see you get stopped, it's like it's foreign to us. It's like hit the panic button. But if you're looking at real football, then this is a real type football game. I mean, it was just a great defense. They made great plays.
But it still wasn't real. They still won 54-10.
They won by 44 points.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I made that point.
That's why it's ludicrous.
We were driving home from
it
the stadium.
Doesn't feel like they won by 44 points.
We were driving home
they should have won 100. They should have
Saturday.
scored 100 points.
And I thought, I feel like the appreciation for what an actual normal football game looks like has disappeared from Ohio State.
Yes. Until we go against, like Alabama or Tennessee or somebody like that.
You score 3 touchdowns, you kick 2 field goals, you win the game. Like, that's the way a normal football
I'm not
game is
sure
played.
how many times in my 4 years we scored more than 50 points in a game. I'm dead serious. Might be
no more than a couple.
It's one hand for sure.
Who? Who? You?
When we were there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to say,
He
we rode.
He didn't play for Urban.
Oh, we rode.
The goal wasn't the same
Roll.
for Tressel as it was for
but
Urban.
Urban was good for this.
The difference between the difference from Tressel to Urban is the same as the difference from Urban today.
True.
Like, the expectation
they really rolled
has
it.
changed. I guess my question is, and you mentioned this as sort of a week off for the defense against Iowa. Now you're going to play a team that is going to have the best offensive weapons that you've had to face all year long. Penn State, Sean Clifford is obviously pretty mediocre at times, bad at other times.
But he doesn't lose.
But he doesn't
really
lose
lose
them games.
Yeah.
They have.
He played against us well last year.
They have weapons on the outside that can beat you down the field. They have one of the most talented running backs in the Big Ten in Nick Singleton as a true freshman. And Katron Allen, the other one that's with him, another freshman. Like, this is a team that's going to have some ways to test you offensively that other teams haven't had. What is your biggest area of concern? Is it that the corners still haven't been tested?
Well,
yes.
And that's, so you obviously got Cam dealing with some stuff. Having Jordan Hancock back, hopefully that'll help. It looked like Denzel's been playing better. No, believe me, it's not like there's wideouts or anything to write home about. I'm like, guys,
The tight ends.
they've got me out there.
Hilarious.
They have me out there playing wideout. And I might be more athletic, even at almost 40 than some of these guys, but I'm not crazy worried about that. I feel like they should be good.
You know why you don't feel like that? Because Zach Harrison has emerged as a elite pass rusher.
Why do you keep going back to the camera as if we're doing soliloquies here?
I need to, because if he's watching this, I need him to know.
He wants to connect with the audience.
Exactly.
It's like pro wrestling over here.
Listen, brother, know your role.
Listen up, Zach. You keep playing hard.
We're coming for you.
You see the pass rush and the pressure that they're getting on these quarterbacks, so you know that the ball's going to come out and they're going to be able to make
Penn
plays.
State is like the inverse of Iowa. They're not nearly as good up front in the trenches, and they're much better on the perimeter. Like, I feel like our D line up front will be able to really get some pressure.
They're going to eat on Saturday.
And Penn State has tight ends that are good also. Both of their tight ends, Brenton Strange and Theo Johnson, were offered by Ohio State. Like, they've got guys Ohio State wants on that roster. That is not the same. No one else they've played this year has had, aside of Notre Dame having 2 or 3 guys, no one else they've played or have players Ohio State would be like, yes, we will take that guy.
A recruitable player.
Iowa had one, but he didn't play.
Who's that?
Xavier Wampa.
Safety?
Yeah.
Yeah, Berm couldn't.
Only on special teams.
He had a flock of Buckeyes going to him after the game. There's like, it was kind of like, hey, buddy,
get in the portal.
You ever heard of this portal thing? Like
that was interesting. Normally, you don't see like photos like that after a game unless that guy played at Ohio State previously. But even current players who are not even being recruited in the same class as Wampa, we're going over and talking to him because he was on campus so much with Ohio State in his recruitment.
Then they were like, hey, Lathan's probably leaving, and Ronnie's going to be gone.
Yeah.
I assure you those conversations happen.
Well, I'm interested to see Sonny Styles when they're gone.
Oh, Sonny's so big, dude.
Yeah, he's going to be a linebacker.
He's good. He's going to be good, man. He's a very diligent player.
You said that about Court Williams. You said he was going to be a
linebacker. Court should be a linebacker. Just saw Court today.
Sonny's different.
Sonny's tall.
Yeah, 6'4".
Sonny's 6. He's taller than me.
He's 6'4".
He's got a massive frame.
He can be 6'4", 240, and
still be
a
skinny.
Man, you want to put that much weight on him?
Oh, dude.
He's 225.
225 now, and
is he? I thought he was like 210.
No, he's just a very different type of athlete.
Very dense. He's a broad-shouldered dude. Like, I mean, he would have been Sean Taylor 20 years ago, but now you just play those guys at linebacker because you don't need a 228-pound safety. You know.
Says who?
Well, it says the NFL because no one does it anymore. They just move you to linebacker.
That is true.
Because no one, right?
Yeah, where's Isaiah Simmons playing for
exactly.
Cardinals?
Yeah, they don't.
That's the player.
There's no, you can move around and be versatile like JOK, like all those guys. Like, you don't, there's no reason to have a guy that big because no one lines up in 22 personnel and just tries to hammer you all game. So you need a
box safety. What you mean?
They don't have box safeties anymore. They play too high with another safety down as a linebacker.
Jeff Okudah basically played box safety on Sunday for the Lions and had like 18 tackles or something.
Did he really have 18
tackles? He had like 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't really work.
Didn't matter. I mean, Jared Goff made sure of that.
But I mean, you look at Penn State. Defensively, I don't think they're as good as they've been.
Yeah.
But offensively, line's not great, but they have good skill players. And so, I mean, those guys get some space. You know, it'll be interesting to see. Michigan did a pretty good job on them, and that's what I'm kind of comparing these games to. It's almost crazy. I watched Ohio State play now, and I try to say, how would another team who is an elite team, how would they look at this?
And that's how I look at it.
I think
unfair.
that's the frustrating part for me is because like we're all tempted to do that, but that's not how football works.
Yes, it is.
You're not game planning for Michigan when you're playing Iowa. You're not game planning.
No.
I know. I understand.
They better not.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. I think that's like, but it's just not fair to do that in my mind. Like I want to do that and be like, well,
life isn't fair.
It's not apples to apples though. This game is at Penn State. Penn State had to play at Michigan. It's a different world.
All right. When they get to that world, what's the score going to be?
What was the score of the team up north? 42-17?
41-17.
41-17. Okay.
The last 5 times Ohio State's played at Penn State, the average margin of victory has been 6 points for Ohio State. This is not a game they're going to go in and blow them out. I just don't see it happening. Penn State, for whatever reason, understands how to compete with Ohio State. And a big part of that is that they are just not afraid of Ohio State. They are not athletically, jealous of Ohio State. They're not looking at them going, oh, these guys are so much better than us. That's not how they operate.
I don't know. James Franklin did said they're trying to get to an elite program like Ohio State.
Not an elite program.
No, and that's
and they aren't.
That was 2018 when he said that. They're still not there, but they're going to come ready. I'm grateful this isn't a night game.
Yeah,
that changes the
calculus
quite a bit. 35-24 Buckeyes.
That's pretty close to what I got.
Say 42-17. The night game would have tightened that up probably by.
I think we have a game in the fourth quarter. That's all I'm saying.
38-17.
I think the fact that the whiteout was the neutralizer, that it's just so hard to play in it, that's what helped Penn State keep some of those games in Happy Valley close. I don't think, especially in the trenches, that Penn State can match up with Ohio State. I think that this will be a
go big, Austin.
It's going to be 45-13 Ohio State. Okay.
I like that you're all over the defense, man. The fact that none of those.
Well, that used to be the thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, how much do I have to build in for them? I don't have to do that anymore. And especially Sean Clifford against this pass rush.
The offensive line for Penn State is not great.
Bet that Penn State returns a kick for a touchdown this week.
Oh, I'd take that.
You've been making that bet for 3 weeks in a row.
Look at the
got his hand out.
Ohio State's giving up $10.
Y'all see it? $10.
Gambling's not legal in Ohio until January.
5 kickoffs, five 30-yard returns have happened against Ohio State this season. Penn State, with a guy like Nick Singleton back there, will take that to the house. He will not get caught.
Wow, that really spiced it up.
I don't know what reality you're living in.
But this is the film, bud.
When it's a big game.
When you kick off that much, man, you're going to give up.
It's just, I think that's how Penn State gets on the board at some point in this game.
Ohio State jumps out big early. Penn State has no answer, but they make it respectable trying to end at the end.
I think Ohio State's helped by the fact that obviously Ryan Day knows what Mike Yurcich wants to do with their offense and is pretty aware of it. We've seen Sean Clifford.
I forgot Mike Yurcich is there.
NASCAR Mike.
We've watched Sean Clifford play quarterback there for the last 8 years since Christian Hackenberg left. So you know what you're going to get there.
Man, has he been there that long?
This
is 6th year.
Sixth? Has he started every year, though?
Yeah, they chose him over to Will Levis. And
they chose him over Will Levis?
Yeah. That's what may have been a bad choice. Milk was a bad choice.
Wow. They actually put Will Levis out there to make one of those games against Ohio State.
Will Levis came back. That's what I'm saying. He came back against Ohio State when he got in.
Did some running around and made some plays.
And now he's slotted to be a first-round pick.
Jimmy Frank's doing what he does. Guaranteed $76 million for some reason.
Hey, you know what? He's
Good job if you can get it.
He's not even close to the worst investment that was made in college football because you know why? Penn State's above 500, and they at least have beaten
Michigan
Auburn.
State is who you talking about.
No, I'm talking about Jimbo Fisher, who has no offset language. They're 3 and 4, and he's been there for 5 years?
With the most expensive roster.
The most expensive roster in 4 top 10 recruiting classes.
Well,
How are you possibly that bad?
He has the number one recruiting class ever, right?
Yeah.
Highest recruiting class
ever
in the history
but people
of recruiting.
go, those guys were freshmen. I'm like, I get that. But you still have stacked 4 top 10 classes in a row, and you're losing to South Carolina?
I understand saying those guys
Those
are
freshmen should be good enough to beat South Carolina.
What are you going to do, fire him?
But there's 7 of those guys are 5-star defensive linemen from last year. If 5-star defensive linemen have to come in and play,
Yeah.
that's the way it works. So if they're not good enough to get it there and play and make impacts, then something went wrong.
Or what are you doing? Your development process is atrocious.
They're not.
You're born on 3rd and stealing 2nd.
You're going the wrong way.
Oh, here we go. Don't use that phrase.
Oh, it was intentionally used. Believe me.
Won't be the last time either. That's
I can't wait. We need to bring it for Thanksgiving week. We need to get a little baseball diamond
born
up here.
on 3rd.
Put it right here.
Some people think they born on 3rd and hit a home run or something like that.
I bet that.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Quinn Temple puts like a diamond out there on the Woody practice field.
Hit a triple, Tyvis.
You don't get born on 3rd and hit a home run.
You know what I mean?
He tripped and fell and just stayed there.
Yep.
When the
I'm
metaphors
I'm good.
When these metaphors get mixed, it's time to wrap up a show in the Horseshoe Lounge for the podcast.
I can't mix a metaphor, but I can mix a drink, Austin.
Well, that's important. That's one of your best skills.
Life skill.
And as long as you're available to make them, that's your best trade as well.
Most important availability
of drinks to mix up.
Drinkability, I think.
Yeah, you can get those at Roosters all week, anytime you want them. Come in, they're delicious. Make sure that you wash down those mac and cheese bites. If Berm leaves any for you, appetizer Tuesday, $2. Register for the Roosters Bowl Trip giveaway. That's Tyvis, Powell, Bobby Carpenter. Berm, thanks to Nicole Cox for having us in as always. This was a fun, casual chat at a fun, casual joint. We will see you next week. Enjoy Ohio State and Penn State on Saturday.